Senate Committee on Business Professions and Economic Development and the hearing for today. We have two bills that have been put over. Item number 2, SB 270 by Senator Mendoza, which will be heard on the 20th. And item number 6, SB 561 by Senator Manning, will be heard on the 27th of April. There are also two bills that are proposed for consent today, and they are item number 1, SB 177, and item 3, SB 525. So we have not established a quorum yet. We will do that, and then we will move the consent calendar if possible. Please call the roll.
Hill? Hill?
Here.
Okay. Bates?
Lost, I guess I should have said.
Bates here. Berryhill? Block? Galgiani? Galgiani here. Hernandez? Hernandez here. Jackson? Mendoza?
Here.
Mendoza here. Wachowski?
Here.
Wachowski here.
Thank you. We have a motion by Senator Wachowski on the consent calendar. Please call the roll.
Hill?
Aye.
Hill, aye. Bates? Aye. Bates, aye. Berryhill? Block? Galgiani? Aye. Galgiani, aye. Hernandez? Aye. Hernandez, aye. Jackson? Mendoza? Aye. Mendoza, aye. Wachowski?
Aye.
Wachowski, aye.
How many of them? 6? Yeah, six. So we have 6 votes on the consent calendar. We'll hold the roll open for absent members. And now we will move to our regular agenda, and the bills are heard in file order. And I do not see Senator Block or Senator Manning. So I see Senator Leno. Good afternoon. Please come forward. This is item number 9, SB 763. Good afternoon, Senator Leno.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and committee members. Thank you for letting me present this bill. All it does is simply requires the disclosure of dangerous flame retardants in 21 juvenile products so that consumers can make informed decisions. The bill does not ban any chemicals. It does allow for the free market to work at its very best when consumers have the knowledge to make purchases of what they would like. Given that flame retardant chemicals are associated with health impacts such as cancer, decreased fertility, hormone disruption, lower IQ, and hyperactivity, among others, California updated its fire safety standard, which is known as Technical Bulletin 117, 2 years ago. It shifted from a open flame test to a smolder test. So that is now the way we protect consumers from the risk of fire danger. Last year, many of you were on the committee and supported a bill that we authored, which was SB 1019, and it required, not dissimilar to this bill, a label on upholstered furniture. So again, consumers could make decisions they would like. If they care to purchase with the identified chemicals, they can do that. If they prefer not to, they can do that. The 21 juvenile products that are represented in this bill are not impacted by SB 1019 because they're not subject to the state flammability standard, which means that these 21 products with which our youngest citizens have most daily contact have been identified by the state not to be flame risk. So unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your opinion, there's no requirement for or any need for flame retardants to be included in these products, but because of the nature of the manufacturing process, they may yet have. So all the bill does to give consumers all the information they need to make an informed choice is to have a label on these 21 juvenile products which will say whether they do or do not have flame retardants in them. That's the entirety of the bill, and I would ask for your aye vote.
Very good. Thank you, Senator Leno. Are there questions at this point? Seeing none, and witnesses in support.
Please. So let me introduce Robbie Weister.
Bobby Weist, yes.
and he is with the California Professional Firefighters.
Very good. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members. My name is Bobby Weist, and I'm a captain with the City of Davis Fire Department. I am also the president of Davis Professional Firefighters and the California Professional Firefighters 3rd District Vice President. I'd also like to add that I'm the son, the nephew, and now the proud father of firefighters. In California, we honor firefighters who've lost their lives in the line of duty by adding their names to the California Firefighters Memorial. 15 to 20 names are added to the wall each year, and many died from job-related cancer. We believe it's clear that the toxic properties of chemical flame retardants, especially when they burn, contribute to the high rates of certain cancers among firefighters. Every time firefighters enter a structure fire or respond to a vehicle fire, they are confronted with a haze of toxins and compounds released by smoldering products. These gases seep into our protective clothing and sometimes penetrate our breathing apparatus. During overhaul and mop-up operations, the toxins are still being produced and firefighters can directly inhale them. And when a firefighter returns to the station, the toxins can stay on our protective equipment, adding another exposure for the men and women back at the firehouse. The cumulative effect of these exposures over the course of a career can be devastating. Not only cancer, but heart, lung, and other debilitating diseases can be traced to prolonged exposure to the toxins like those in chemical flame retardants. We believe these toxins are a direct threat to the health and safety of our members. More importantly, they are a threat to the health and safety of the people we serve. The amount of additional protection provided by these toxic retardants is minimal. Fires burn hotter than they used to, and the materials used to make certain products can render these retardants almost useless. Nobody, and I say nobody, understands the source and spread of fire better than firefighters. The reason is pretty basic. Lives depend on it, including ours. Firefighters are the professionals whose job it is to know, see, and feel fire, and work to keep it from spreading. All flame retardant chemicals do is create health risks when they don't burn and pose serious toxic exposure risks when they do. Not only am I a firefighter, but I am also a grandparent and a consumer of juvenile products for my young grandchildren. It's essential that the consumers have a full understanding of the potential health hazards posed by prolonged daily exposure to these toxins that may exist in children's products, our most vulnerable and precious population. Ultimately, informed consumers make better buying choices. When they exercise that choice to buy safer products, they're making themselves and our firefighters' safety. SB 763 simply requires that these chemicals be disclosed on labels of certain juvenile products. It doesn't ban their use, but it does give consumers an option to make a safer choice, one without flame retardant chemicals. California Professional Firefighters is proud to stand with Senator Leno in co-sponsoring this bill, and I urge your support. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Captain. Other witnesses in support?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. My name is Aaron Lewis with the Consumer Federation of California. We were one of the co-sponsors of SB 763. This bill would close the loop on flame retardant product labeling and would allow consumers and parents to make informed choices regarding the products that they're buying for their children. Consumers have a right to know whether or not harmful substances are present in their children's bassinets, play mats, nap mats, carriers, playpens, whatever. And all these products are in immediate and direct contact with their children. Since the late 1970s, when flame retardants began to be phased out of children's clothes and pajamas, consumer awareness has grown as to the harm that flame retardant chemicals can cause. Consumers are demanding products without added flame retardants, and currently they have absolutely no way to evaluate juvenile products. We believe that a declaration at the point of sale indicating the absence of flame retardant chemicals will be a positive factor for sales. As one business put it in their letter of support, we will gladly add a label to our product indicating the absence of flame retardant chemicals. We already provide this information on our website and on our product packaging. As a manufacturer, we believe every consumer has a right to know what is in their products, and that we as manufacturers have a responsibility to be knowledgeable and willing to disclose what is in our products. And suppliers too also need to be forthcoming and can be forthcoming if manufacturers request it. The same letter goes on to say that all suppliers are able to provide their business customers with a clear statement about the use of any flame retardant chemicals in the components they provide. SB 763's required labeling gives California consumers the information they need to make informed decisions about the products they buy, and we believe that California consumers have a right to know about any harmful chemicals that are in the products. We respectfully ask for your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the statement. Other witnesses in support. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Judy Levin, and I'm the Pollution Prevention Director at the Center for Environmental Health. So flame retardants are chemicals that are added to a large number of consumer products, including children's products. And these chemicals don't stay put in the products into which they're placed. Rather, they escape out of their products and they land on surfaces and on the floor. And it's on the floor where young children play and crawl that they come into very close contact with these chemicals. And when they touch the floor and then they touch their mouth, they ingest these chemicals. And this is a behavior young children do a lot, of putting things in their mouth. And as a result, toddlers have been found to have 3 to 5 times higher levels of flame retardants than their mothers. And many flame retardants have been linked to serious health effects, including cancer, thyroid disruption, hormonal difficulties, reproductive difficulties, and difficulties with the immune system. And pregnant women and children are especially vulnerable to these chemicals. Flame retardants actually can cross the placenta, and they find their way into the bodies. So 100% of newborns tested have had flame retardants in their umbilical cord at the time of birth. So they're pre-polluted. And they're also passed through breastfeeding from the mother to the baby through breastfeeding. One concerning effect of many flame retardants is their ability to affect the thyroid, the normal thyroid function in pregnant women. So that is essential for proper growth and development of the infant's brain. And a number of studies from UC Berkeley and Columbia School of Public Health have shown that moms who are born with high levels of certain flame retardants, actually their children have 5 fewer points of IQ than their non-exposed children. And this is on par with the adverse effects of low levels of lead exposure to children on their IQ. So many people are starting to refer to flame retardants as the new lead. One of the roles that the Center for Environmental Health fills is that we test consumer products for the presence of toxic chemicals, including flame retardants. So in 2012, we tested 24 napping mats, and we found that over 90% of them had at least one flame retardant, and 80% of them had 2 or more flame retardant chemicals. What was interesting about this is that was back in 2012, and flame retardants did not need to be included in napping mats because they're not covered by any regulation. They're covered neither by the TB 117 or the CPSC federal mattress standard. So the Center for Environmental Health actually informed these companies and said, nap mats are not subject to this flammability standard. You do not need to include flame retardants. And therefore, we thought that that would be the end of it. In mid-2014, more than 1 year after we told these companies they did not have to use flame retardants, and 6 months after the new standard exempted 18 children's product, we decided to retest 10 napping mats to see if there were still flame retardants being used. And what did we find? We found, really, to our surprise and dismay, that flame retardants were still in 60% of the nap mats that we tested. And this was very surprising. We couldn't imagine why a company would either continue to use them or not get control over their supply chain to remove them. And it was not our agency alone that found flame retardants in children's products. The state of Washington, Departments of Ecology, also found 30% of their products tested of these changing pads had flame retardant chemicals. So what SB 763 is offering is a very simple solution to a problem. It's a simple label that would not only inform the initial buyer of the product, but all the subsequent users of that product. Because as all of us know, we pass on our children's products to our friends, to our families, we donate them to the thrift store. And these secondhand users will have no way to know whether the product they're considering or receiving does or does not have flame retardants. And children from low-income families and communities of color are very likely to use and receive these products. And these are the same communities that have the highest levels of flame retardants already. So if there's no way for secondhand users to discern safer products, then we will continue the disparity that already exists. Excuse me. In closing, SB 763 is an easy and effective way for businesses and consumers to convey and receive important information. And when consumers are confident about their purchasing decisions, that's good for business and families and will help improve public health. So I urge you to vote aye on SB 763.
Thank you very much. Other witnesses in support, and if you could just identify yourself and the organization you represent, if you do, and a brief comment.